All right, can everyone hear me? Yeah? All right. So, we've gathered here today to discuss the 2007 Disney film Meet the Robinsons.
Why'd you say that like we're at a memorial?
Maybe we are. Every time I watch this movie, I feel such a thrill of creativity and inspiration, but it's something that's just been lacking at Disney in these past years.
I get what you mean. It's got something that's so genuine that just isn't there anymore.
Right, but before we get any further, let's go ahead and introduce our cast of creatives. Unfortunately, we couldn't meet in person because we are all the same person, but everyone's schedules were able to align for the Zoom roundtable. If y'all just want to go ahead and do a little wave or something when I call your name, I guess I'll go first. I'm Selena Wheeler, and joining me here today is Selena Wheeler, and Selena Wheeler. For anyone who knows me, it's not surprising to say that this is one of my favorite movies. I first watched this when I was really young, but I really forgot it existed until I was older. It's not a Disney classic, that's for sure. Didn't do too well in the box office, lots of mixed reactions. I can see how people don't like it. It's incredibly fast paced with back to back comedic sequences, and a crazy plot twist. It's overall just an absurd film.
It's like it was almost easier to watch and follow along with as a child. Now I'm just caught up with all the unexplained questions and time travel paradoxes, but at the same time, I'm able to appreciate the film more.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think, regardless of how well it is story wise, you can tell that it really tried. What do you mean by that? I mean, it would be unfair to judge this film solely or heavily based on its storyline. I think the storyline itself is great, but what really sells it for me is its message and its creativity.
It's a kids' movie, so does it have to make the most sense plot wise, like logically?
Well, yes and no. That's really the beauty of media for children. It has to be straightforward enough so they can actually understand what's going on, but perhaps more importantly, it has to be entertaining. Meet the Robinsons completes both these criteria. At least I believe it does. But what's even more impressive is its ability to be relevant and entertaining towards older audiences. I believe it was you, Selena, who mentioned it's not a Disney classic. So I find myself wanting to rewatch this movie, wanting to discuss it with my colleagues, you all, not out of nostalgia, not to enjoy the storyline or enjoy the early CGI animation, but because it's so creatively inspiring. All right, you kind of stole my point. Oh, sorry, go ahead. No, it's fine. Just don't do it again. So Meet the Robinsons just oozes with creativity, right? Its source material is a book by William Joyce called A Day with Wilbur Robinson, which was also the working title for the film. In the book, Lewis is Wilbur's best friend, and they go on a journey through the Robinson household looking for Grandpa and his lost dentures. That happens in the movie too, doesn't it? Yeah, but this is pretty much the extent of the book. They mention a time machine once and how there's dinosaurs in the backyard because the machine was left on. And we meet the quirky members of the Robinson family, but some of them didn't make it to the movie. Not to mention, Mr. Robinson is there the entire time, and he's definitely not Lewis in the future. Lewis exists in his own timeline, and there's no plot twist or villain or anything. It's just family and adventure. That's pretty incredible, getting to understand the process of adapting something into a feature film. I feel like Disney was able to give justice towards A Day with Wilbur Robinson, and they added the overarching storyline about Lewis and bowler hat guy, but they were able to retain the same feeling from the book about this wacky but extraordinary and welcoming family. Hence the name change to Meet the Robinsons. Exactly. In the movie, the focus shifts from finding the dentures to finding the garage, but this sequence is still honored, and we do find the dentures eventually too. But more importantly, we meet the family members through these bizarre scenarios, and we even get to meet the singing frogs, although Franny is now conducting them, as opposed to how Grandpa is conducting them in the book.
I love this sequence as well. I really love how no one questions why Lewis is there, even though he's not even with Wilbur at first. and they just welcome him with open arms. And he also accepts all of their quirks as well. I mean, we've got a man who dresses backwards, a superhero pizza delivery man, an octopus butler. Some of these qualities are even from the book, but they make sense because they add to the absurdity of the film and the improbability of all this happening at once.
Not even just how the family acts, but how the movie acts as well in tandem with the family. We talked already about the meeting the family sequence, but we've also got a family portrait recap sequence that's in a dark room, like an interrogation, a food fight sequence where the audio and lighting make it feel like we're watching an older Eastern fight scene. It even looks like the dialogue's dubbed over because the audio just doesn't match how the characters' mouths are moving.
Your words do not threaten me, brother.
Then enough words. Now the real battle begins.
Lewis is just immediately immersed into this messy, whimsical, loving family, and they never treat him like this is their first time meeting him. The Robinsons are really friendly towards Lewis, to a point where it's odd. They help him fight against a T-Rex and then offer to adopt him right afterwards. And this is just within a few hours of knowing him. Yeah, it is kind of weird, but this is part of their charm. Again, like I think Selena was saying, it's the improbability. It doesn't have to make sense. Well, Wilbur does tell Franny that Lewis is an orphan, so maybe she sympathizes with this because she's married to an orphan as well.
Who is also Lewis. The wife-mom relationship thing that Lewis and Franny have got going on in this film is kind of weird. Freud would probably enjoy this part.
Also, how does Franny not recognize young Lewis? It's later revealed that they first met at the science fair when they were children. So wouldn't she, know what he looked like when he was younger?
What about Grandma and Grandpa Robinson? They were the ones who adopted Lewis, so wouldn't they recognize him?
There are so many different theories you could come up with. I mean, regarding the grandparents, they are older and kind of crazy, so maybe they're just confused, or maybe they do recognize him. And maybe Franny and Lewis, they didn't meet again for a long time after the science fair, so she doesn't remember what he was like as a child. Another argument is just that time travel was just invented, and they don't originally know that Lewis is from the past, so why would they, even expect him to be someone that they already know? I admit, it doesn't make a lot of logical sense, but the children who watch this movie, they're not going to be asking themselves these questions. They don't care about the logic. This is a great way to pivot back to the family as a whole, and what's probably one of the most impactful scenes. It's after dinner when Lewis is trying to fix the PB&J machine and fails, and he's mortified, he's apologizing profusely, seeing failure as a weakness, but the family isn't angry at him at all. Instead, they rejoice at this failure. And maybe this wasn't the most impactful scene when I was younger, but this is such an important message, and this is the type of media that children should be consuming. Something that succeeds in its creativity and its failure. Sorry, did you just steal her point? Oh god, I'm sorry, No, it's fine. No, it's not. Selena, did she just say what you were about to say? I mean, technically, yeah, but... Okay, Selena, could you just, mute yourself for the rest of the discussion? What?
Which Selena?
Well, the Selena who keeps stealing points, obviously. I think she wrote herself down as director Selena in the script.
You're the director?
Well, yeah, I'm the one hosting the event, so... Okay, just stop talking, point stealer. Just mute yourself. Seriously? Yeah.
Just do it.
Sorry, man. Alright, are we ready to, as the Robinsons say, keep moving forward?
You're a real hoot, Selena.
Oh, I try. But sometimes I fail. And speaking of failure, let's talk about Goob. Goob. He's probably my favorite character in this movie because he's such an unlikely villain. He lacks smarts of all kind. He moves around all wiggly in his shabby clothing. And he feels like he's like a parody of a villain. He's trying so hard to be a villain.
He's not really the villain as much as Doris is.
Doris is really what made him a villain. He always had this resentment for Lewis, but Doris gives him the potential to be evil. But, actually it's more like Doris, gives him the abilities to be evil and then has to, tell him how to be evil with it because he's kind of stupid. He is pretty stupid, but it's kind of sad because I'm assuming that since he never got adopted, he was never really able to mature emotionally or intellectually. His handwriting's a mess, he reads really slowly, he lacks common sense in general.
His character design is so great, both young Goob and old Goob. Young Goob is just, he's adorable, he's tired, he's someone that you want to look after and protect. He's so funny, and he's not in a lot of scenes, but he's the first voice that we hear in the whole movie, and his monologue is just so natural. It really sets the tone of the film, having to accept things as they are and being like, oh yes, this is natural, this makes sense, even if it actually doesn't.
It's my destiny to play that game. I don't really care about winning. Well, like, now I do, because, like, we've lost every game. I've gotten tired of it.
Old Goob is a whole different person with his villain voice and not well thought through schemes, but we end up wanting to protect him as well. What really got to me was his unicorn binder. This is just another feature of his childishness, and his odd attraction to unicorns just really contradicts with this whole villainous personality that he's trying to build.
The scene at the end where he runs away and just leaves his binder with an unchecked question mark, it's really touching because he's taking accountability for himself. He doesn't believe he deserves kindness from the Robinsons after what he's done to them, and he doesn't want to be evil anymore, but he just doesn't know what to do from there.
That's really interesting you mentioned that because this wasn't supposed to be the original ending. The film was supposed to be released in 2006, but after Disney acquired Pixar in that same year, John Lasseter became the chief creative director, and he scrapped about 60% of the film because he thought the villain wasn't scary enough. An alternate ending involves Lewis bringing Goob back in time to wake up younger Goob at the baseball game, and then old Goob ceases to exist as a result.
That's kind of sweet because Goob gets to change his own fate, but I do like the actual ending because Lewis takes responsibility for contributing to Goob's failure. It also leaves older Goob's fate more uncertain because we don't actually see him disappear or become a new person. We're just left with him running away and with the question mark.
And a question mark is what we'll end with too. Did you guys know that there was supposed to be a Meet the Robinsons too? That was an awful transition. Aren't you supposed to be muted? But yeah, that transition was pretty bad. This script kind of sucks. You want me to read it? Fine. Okay, let me find it. Meet the Robinsons 2 was called off after Lasseter canceled all Disney sequels that were in development. He wanted the studios to focus on more original, or at least spin-off films.
That's really ironic considering all the remakes and sequels that Disney's just spewing out now.
Meet the Robinsons literally ends with a quote from Disney himself saying to keep moving forward. And I don't know about the other Selenas, and I definitely don't know enough about Walt Disney as a person. He was probably a bad person. But it's just insane how different the content of his studio has become in the past few decades. John Lasseter definitely wasn't a good person either, but as a creative, I think he made the right call with canceling the sequel. I don't think we really even needed a Meet the Robinsons 2 because it's just really beautiful how the film ends with so many questions answered, but even more questions raised that you can just sit and think about for yourself.
I'm upset with certain aspects of the film industry nowadays, and it's not just Disney, it's everyone who's just conglomerating and just congealing into one unidentified mass, and just becoming more and more difficult for creative and unique independent films to get the recognition that they deserve.
I don't know if we should be talking about this. Like, we don't really know much about the film industry in general, but well, I guess it is important that I mention how I feel about this. I've got so much to learn, and this really isn't about Meet the Robinsons anymore, but it's just such an inspiring movie. It celebrates creativity, and that's what filmmakers should really be striving to do, to make these films that inspire others and show them that, like, the possibilities are limitless. All right, thanks for listening. Thanks for being here, Selena. Aren't I supposed to give the anti-introductions? Anti-introductions? Well, I don't really know what it's called because it's like not the conclusion, and I don't think Selena could think of the word either. It's just the part where like everyone says goodbye to each other. You know what? Sure, just go for it. Steal my job. I don't really care at this point. I'm just gonna eat my Reese's Pieces. All right. Thanks for joining us all today in this roundtable discussion. Hopefully, I'll never see any of you ever again. But here's to a good grade on the final. Cheers. See you next time where we're gonna talk about another movie or something. I don't really know where this is going. But bye.